So in today's time, if I ask you, what do you need to run a simple web application server at home? So your answer would be, yeah, I need a computer. Yes, that's fine. You need one. And then, okay, yes, you need an operating system and the softwares to run it. Yes, absolutely right. Yes, a database to connect to the data that you're having and to store them. And okay, yes, of course, an internet connection, because you need to connect to the internet and reach globally. So, oh yes, of course, the storage itself, because we need to make the database persistent. And basically, yes, a server which actually brings everything together and you're able to host the website that you have. So that is pretty much everything that you need, isn't it? So what if I told you, once you become popular and your subscriber count or your website application or the application that you have grows, you're going to find a hard time. So because if suppose this for a single user, it's fine that you're going to have a very little traffic coming into your website. But if you grow big, can you seriously handle the enormous traffic then? Let's suppose there are thousands and millions of users that are coming to your website, and I don't think so you will be able to manage it. So you might say that I will scale it. I'll improve the storage capacity. I'll increase the bandwidth that I have. I'll improve the server that I have. Do you know how much it would cost to just maintain and expand it? It'll be very, very expensive. It'll be very, very expensive to just make sure that everyone gets the right amount of traffic and they're able to use a website. It'll be very, very expensive. But before that, if I told you there is someone that can help you in this, and what if I told you you don't have to keep all of that with you and someone else will do that job for you? Like, let's suppose you have your server and you place all your resources that you need somewhere else and it is maintained by someone else, and he's saying that I'll do your job for you. And you need to just sit back and relax. Won't that be fantastic? So if you still have doubts on what cloud computing is, then stick together and watch the video till the end, because this is what we are going to discuss next. So what is cloud computing then? So cloud computing is basically an on-demand availability of computer system resources, especially data storage and computing power, without direct active management by the user. So what does it mean? So let's suppose you have all the devices that you need and you want your resources to be placed somewhere else. Let's suppose we divide this into two parts. One is cloud and one is computing. Speaking about the computing part, basically, like, let's suppose you want to run some software, or you want to do some calculations, or you want to do some analytics. You want some computing power in that. But what if I tell you that there is someone out there that is going to provide you this hardware and all the resources that you need to run this operation? That's where computing takes place. And that's where cloud comes in. Cloud is nothing but a region or a data center that gives you all the resources that you need to compute or process your information that you need. And it will provide you everything that you need, starting from the infrastructure that you want, the type of hardware that you want, and the type of software that you want, and the processing unit that you want, literally anything. But cloud generally means there is someone out there in some region who has all these hardwares in place, and you just need to access it. Of course, by paying some money, because you want to leverage the resources that they have, use the computation power of their hardware. So you need to pay for this and you can use it. So cloud doesn't mean that it's over the cloud. It's basically not residing in your physical premises or the premises that you stay. It's somewhere else, and they are providing the resources for you to do the computation that you want. So this is basically cloud computing, because some of the resources that you need might be very costly. It might not be relevant to keep it for a long time because you just want to perform the operation and just go beyond this. So this will help you in maximizing your potential by just not thinking about or not getting worried about the physical hardware that you need to purchase, because somebody out there has already done it for you. And that's why everybody is moving towards cloud computing, because it is cheap. Not literally cheap, but it is very much available, and you can find any type of resources that you want. Let's suppose you want a smaller hardware or a smaller hardware resource, you can get that. If you want to increase it, you can scale it in any time on demand. What's the next thing then? What are the top 7 benefits of cloud computing? First is the cost. Because it has the pay as you go basis, you can just purchase some of the resources that you need and do the computation and just terminate it. It's that simple as possible, because you don't want to keep the resources, you don't want to own it. Basically, you just want to use it for some time and you just want to throw it away, and that's how we minimize cost here. Scalability. So scalability in definition means, like, scalability in cloud computing is the ability to quickly and easily increase or decrease the size of or the power of an IT solution. So what exactly it means is, let's suppose you are working on a lightweight application. You can use a very smaller configuration resource. If suppose you want to scale it, let's suppose your website grows, or the website that you have hosted grows, and you didn't plan for it to be a huge success, but and you're getting a lot of traffic, so you can just scale them by adding more resources to that, and that's how you go. So when it comes to performance, the biggest cloud computing services run on a worldwide network of secure data centers, which are regularly updated to the latest generation of fast and efficient computing hardware. So you don't need to worry about the performance side of it. You just need to use it. So that's the best part of it. So many cloud providers offer a broad set of policies, security policies and security groups that help you protect your data and applications and infrastructure from the potential threat out there. So this is one of the main benefits of cloud computing. The next one is speed. Speed basically is, most of the cloud computing services provide self-service and on-demand. So what does it mean? So even vast amount of computing resources can be provisioned in minutes, typically in just a few clicks as well. So that's why you can have flexibility in your application as well. So if it wants more computing speed, you can just add it on the go. Productivity basically means that, let's suppose you have an IT team in your office, and let's suppose you have a small team. Now let's suppose of 5 or 10 members, and previously when they were not on cloud, they used to sit together and just work on the possible troubleshooting mechanisms and bring your servers up, and basically they used to spend a lot of time getting the users to be able to use the website itself. But now, as it is outsourced, people who are working in your organization or the team can focus on something more productive. Like they can focus on improving the feature set. That's how productivity improves with cloud computing. And reliability. As you don't own the infrastructure, you don't need to be worried about what happens to the infrastructure. It will be available to you. Let's suppose there is a fire in your house. God forbid, it should not happen like that, but sometimes there is some unforeseen situation that can happen in the environment that you stay, and you might not be able to use the infrastructure that you want. But in this case, in cloud computing, this has been taken care of, because there is a lot of resources and a lot of regions available to you which you can use the resources from, and they are highly reliable because they will be up all the time, mostly 99.9% of time. That's what we aim for in cloud computing. What's the sixth point? What are the type of cloud computing? So the first type of cloud computing is the infrastructure as a service. So the most basic category that you have for cloud computing is the infrastructure as a service. So basically what it means is, you have the infrastructure itself as a service, part of the service itself. So you can consume the service provider's infrastructure. So let's suppose you want servers, you want virtual machines, you want storage, you want networks, and you want operating systems, and you want to have them as a pay-as-you-go basis. You can have them from your infrastructure as a service type of cloud computing. And the next one will be the platform as a service. Platform as a service removes the need for you to manage underlying infrastructure. Platform as a service refers to cloud computing services that supply an on-demand environment for developing, testing, delivering, and managing software applications. Anything that you need, let's suppose you're creating a web application or a mobile application, without worrying about setting up or managing the underlying infrastructure of server, storage, network, or databases, you can basically have that. You can basically achieve it by using platform as a service. The third one is software as a service. Software as a service is as simple as it sounds. So SaaS, or software as a service, provides you with a complete product that is run and managed by the service provider itself. So basically, software as a service is a method for delivering software applications over the internet and on demand, and typically on the subscription basis. So basically, let's suppose you have or the users who want to connect to the application over the internet, usually with a web browser or the phone or the tablet, they can as well use it. So the most common example of software as a service are like GitHub or Drupal or WordPress or Dropbox. These are the services that you can use as a part of the SaaS. You might know about Salesforce, isn't it? Salesforce also comes under the category of SaaS. And let's suppose you talk about platform as a service, you have Microsoft Azure and Jenkins and CloudBees, which actually provide you the platform to run your underlying infrastructure. And infrastructure as a service basically comes along the side of Rackspace or AWS, which provide you the cloud computing services that you need. So this is basically what we have for the type of cloud computing. We just want to cover the basics as soon as possible so that we can go into the topic right in, which is basically to go towards the AWS certification side. So we will cover the basics first so that we have an underlying base knowledge of what exactly we are going to do and why we are going to do it, so that we don't have any confusions later. So what is the next point that we have here? Type of cloud computing services. So the first one is public cloud. Public cloud are basically like they are owned and operated by the third-party cloud service providers. So basically, let's suppose you don't have to manage anything in this. Let's suppose we are using Amazon AWS services and you are just using a computer to use their services. So all of them are, all the services that you see here are on the public cloud. So basically anyone can use it, operate on that, but that will be managed and owned by the third-party cloud service providers. So you don't have to worry about anything regarding the infrastructure or the resources that they have, or you just need to manage your data, you need to manage your code that you have, you need to manage your users and everything, but you don't need to worry about the hardware or the services that they provide. Private cloud is basically like, let's suppose that in the first example that we took, like let's suppose you have a laptop or a computer and you are running a business on your own exclusively. So the hardware, the software, and all the resources that you use are owned by the single business and the organization itself. So no third party is involved in this. Whole responsibility of the resources belongs to the business owner and the organization. And the third part that we have, it's a hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is a combination of public and private cloud. So basically what it means is half of the organizational resources are provided by the third-party vendors like AWS or Rackspace or Azure, and half of them are owned by the business entities and the organization itself. So these are the three types of cloud computing services that we have, and you need to remember all these things. So you need to have a basic understanding of all these things, because we are going to the in-depth details of what exactly these mean when we go for the AWS certification. So these are the primary basic things that you need to know. So moving forward, the uses of cloud computing. The first use that we have is create cloud native application. So you don't need to worry about the application that you have. You can host it on a cloud server and that will run as smooth as you want it to be. Second point that you have here is store, backup, and recover data. So here you don't basically need to worry about what the hardware that they are using, what type of security they are using. You can back up your data, you can store your data, and you can recover them, because there will be replications made on the cloud itself for the data that you have. Third point is stream audio and video. So you have seen platforms like YouTube and Netflix, right? So they also use cloud computing services to stream their audio and video. And let's suppose you talk about Spotify or Ghana.com or Wink Music. They also use these facilities or cloud computing services to stream their audio. Deliver software on demand. So what happens is when you are in a public cloud, anyone can access the software that you have. Test and build applications. So basically the most important factor of having a software organization or building a particular software is testing and building applications. So you may not have all the necessary environments. Let's suppose you have a dev instance or a stage instance or a QA instance or a production environment. So you can replicate all those things, test and build your applications to see how they behave, and then you can post it or you can publish it to the users. Point that we have here is analyze data. You can use a computing resource that the service provider provides, and you can analyze the data that you have, use the computing algorithms that you need, and just use the resources and get it done. And similarly, we have embedded intelligence as well. The ninth point that we have is the point that we wanted to discuss, because we are moving towards Amazon Web Services, and this is what we are going to cover in the upcoming chapters of Road to AWS. And you need to be sure that you are hooked into this channel and you are following every single information that I give, because this is going to be a very crucial part of our journey, because we are going to start from this. So a strong base basically helps you to grow, and as we all know that a strong root actually helps the tree to grow. So we are just plants right now, and we'll grow into a big tree, and we are going to rock it in the examinations as well. So stick together with me on this channel so that I can help you, or I can help myself along with you to crack the examination or the certifications that we're going to give. If you haven't subscribed already to the Pytholic channel, please do so. And if you liked the video, please hit the like button, and there is a red marker that you see here. There is a icon there. Please click on that and subscribe to the channel, because this is the first part that we have, and I'll be bringing a new video every day for you so that you can come along with me in this journey to road to AWS. So until then, stick to the channel, subscribe to the channel, and I am signing off.